In a corner of coastal South Carolina, where the air hangs heavy with the scent of jasmine and the whisper of the sea, there's a garden. But it's not just any garden. It's a place where dreams take root and magic blooms in the most unexpected ways. This is where we find young Emily, her hands dirty but her spirit, well, a little wilted, like a flower yearning for the sun's embrace.
Why can't I do this right? It looks so easy when Mom does it.
You see, Emily had dreams as big as the oak trees that watched over her. But sometimes dreams can feel as fragile as the seedlings she was trying to plant.
Oh no, please don't be ruined.
But here's the thing about gardens and dreams. Sometimes the most beautiful things grow from the tiniest accidents. And sometimes magic is just waiting for the right moment to bloom.
What's happening? Am I dreaming?
In that moment, as the ordinary became extraordinary, Emily found herself at the edge of a grand adventure. One that would teach her that the most wonderful journeys often begin right in your own backyard. As Emily stood at the threshold of wonder, the garden seemed to hold its breath, waiting. The air was thick with the scent of magnolias and sea salt, a gentle reminder of the nearby coast.
Hello, is anyone there? Whispered softly with a slight drawl.
Cheep. Well, butter my biscuit. I was wondering when you'd finally notice us.
You can talk?
Cheep. Of course I can, sugar. I'm Sky, and this here's your garden, ain't it?
I'm Emily, and I reckon it is, but I'm not very good at it. Oh, my stars. So that's how you do it.
And just like that, with a little guidance and a sprinkle of magic, Emily's first tomato seedling found its home in the warm, welcoming earth of the Low Country.
Cheep. See? You're a natural like a fish to water. Now how about I give you the grand tour of your magical kingdom, your majesty?
Okay, but I'm not a majesty. I'm just plain old Emily.
Cheep. In this garden, Emily, you're whatever your heart desires you to be.
And so, hand in wing, Emily and Sky set off on a grand adventure through the newly enchanted garden, where every leaf and petal held a secret waiting to be discovered.
Did you see that, Sky? I made it bloom quick as a wink.
Cheep. You sure did, honeybee. You're learning the secret language of the garden.
As the day wore on, Emily's pockets filled with seeds of knowledge, and her heart with the joy of newfound friendship.
Well, I'll be. I never knew gardening could be this much fun.
Cheep. And we're just getting started, Emily. Just wait until you meet the night-blooming jasmine and the moonflowers.
But as the sun began to dip low, painting the sky in shades of peach and lavender, casting long shadows across their magical world, neither Emily nor Sky noticed the dark, creeping tendrils emerging from the far corner of the garden.
Sky, what in tarnation is that?
Cheep. Oh, feathers and fluff. That's kudzu, Emily, a real troublemaker in these parts.
Kudzu, you see, is like those pesky worries that can take over your mind if you let them. And just like those worries, it spreads faster than a rumor at a church picnic.
It's eaten up the garden. We gotta do something, Sky.
Emily and Sky fought with all their might, but the kudzu had other plans. It was like trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon.
It's no use, Sky. We can't stop it.
As the kudzu crept closer, it seemed to drain the very magic from the air. Flowers that once danced now drooped, and the garden's cheerful song faded to a whisper.
I'm gonna lose the garden. I'm gonna lose everything.
Cheap. Now don't you give up, Emily. Remember all we've learned today?
But what good is it? I can't even save my own garden. Some young gardener of the year I'd make.
Sometimes, in the darkest moments, when the rain falls hardest and the night seems endless, that's when we find our true strength. But first, we must weather the storm.
I'm scared, Sky. What if the magic never comes back?
Cheap. Oh, honeysuckle, the magic was never in the garden. It was in you all along.
In me?
And there, in the quiet of the storm, with the kudzu pressing in from all sides, Emily began to understand that sometimes the greatest growth happens in the darkest of times. As the rain subsided, leaving behind a world washed clean, Emily opened her eyes. In her hands, a tiny spark of light pulsed like a heartbeat, warm and alive.
I reckon I know what to do now.
Cheap. That's the spirit, honeybee. What's the plan?
We're gonna save this garden together, all of us.
And just like that, Emily realized that the magic of the garden had been within her all along, waiting to bloom. As she raised her hands, the light spread, awakening the hidden wonders of the garden.
Come on, y'all. This garden needs us. That's right, little ones. We each have a job to do. Together we'll make this garden shine. You ain't bad. You just needed a little love and direction.
Cheap, cheap. Well, I'll be. You're not just gardening, Emily. You're healing.
Look, Sky, the garden's dancing with me.
In that moment, Emily wasn't just in the garden. She was part of it, as essential as the soil and the sun. Her laughter echoed through the trees, and the very earth seemed to dance with her.
Cheap! Emily, look! The judges are here!
Welcome to my garden.
The judges had seen many gardens, but never one quite like this. It was more than just plants. It was a living, breathing work of art. As the judges deliberated, the garden continued its dance of life and magic, oblivious to the decision being made.
You know what? Win or lose, I reckon this garden's the real prize.
Cheap, and you, Emily, are its heart.
And so, in a little corner of coastal South Carolina, a garden bloomed with magic, friendship, and the boundless wonder of a child's imagination. For Emily had learned the greatest lesson of all, that with love, patience, and a little bit of magic, anything can grow.